All right, guys, so we've got a 28 years later, The Bone Temple trailer that's just dropped. And this one is coming out January 16th. So, usually not the best track record with movies that come out in January, specifically when we're talking horror movies. However, I was really, really lukewarm on 28 years later, maybe even cold on 28 years later. I really enjoyed the first half. The second half didn't really do anything for me. And honestly, it felt like a 2-act story instead of a 3-act story. So to me, 28 years later felt incomplete. There was some really weird editing. There was all this stock footage of like archers and weird stuff going on that was just super distracting to me. And cutting Aaron Taylor Johnson out of the back half of the movie, to me, was like cutting the legs out from under the movie, unfortunately. So I'm thinking that the Bone Temple is actually going to be better, because it's going to be able to tell more of a story than the first movie did. And I ended up watching this trailer yesterday. We'll watch it together here, but let's go ahead and cover this article brought to us by way of John Squires from Bloody Disgusting. And here we go. The article says, the official trailer for Nia DaCosta's sequel, 28 years later, The Bone Temple, has arrived this morning, with the film set for release on January 16th, 2026. The titular Bone Temple is a primary location in Danny Boyle's trilogy starter, and the title of DaCosta's sequel makes it clear we'll be returning to that location. The Bone Temple will focus on Jack O'Connell's Sir Jimmy Crystal and his merry band of evildoers, with young hero Spike also returning. Here's the brand new official synopsis from Sony. Expanding upon the world created by Danny Boyle and Alex Garland in 28 years later, but turning that world on its head, Nia DaCosta directs 28 years later, The Bone Temple. In a continuation of the epic story, Dr. Kelson finds himself in a shocking new relationship, with consequences that could change the world as they know it. And Spike's encounter with Jimmy Crystal becomes a nightmare he can't escape. In the world of The Bone Temple, the infected are no longer the greatest threat to survival. The inhumanity of the survivors can be stranger and more terrifying. Now, the article also says Cillian Murphy's character from 28 Days Later is expected to make a brief appearance in The Bone Temple, with the sequel script once again being written by Alex Garland. So really quick, before we get into the trailer, this just sounds like they're pulling more from George Romero. It's always been the people are the bigger monsters in these zombie movies. I hope this movie's better. It's really not bringing anything new to the table other than the fact that zombies run. I'm not the biggest fan of the 28 days later, 28 weeks later. I find it like extremely derivative, other than the fact that the zombies run and that they try to act like they're not zombies. But they are, right? There's no turning an infected person back to a human, so they are in essence dead and zombies. So got a great shot of somebody wearing hammer pants. Is this Maynard James Keenan from Tool here? That's what it looks like to me. Let me know your thoughts on Tool in the chat or in the comments. So let's go ahead and check out this trailer, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cut the music here, and we will watch this one together. Here we go. There we go.
Trying to predict the future is a discouraging and hazardous occupation. In fact, it may not even exist at all.
Oh, what is this I cannot see? Oh, I am dead, none can excel.
Many of the things we take for granted will one day pass away completely.
I open the door of heaven and hell.
When that time comes, men will no longer communicate. We may have diseases and barbarism.
Oh, I am can excel.
The whole world will cease to make any sense.
I open the door of heaven and
the incredible changes we've experienced and survived. And yet even greater changes are still to come.
Are you ready?
My soul shall scream in hell.
All right. Yeah, I think this one looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I think it looks better than the first entry in the trilogy. Let's just take another look at it as we chit chat here. I mean, the Bone Temple is great. Ralph Fiennes was awesome. He was the one thing about the second act of 28 Years Later that actually worked for me. I really enjoyed his character. You know, I think Jack O'Connell is a brilliant actor. I mean, his take on or his turn as Remick in Sinners is extraordinary, like very alluring and seductive in a different kind of way that, you know, vampires are usually sexually seductive, but he's more politically seductive and just very, you know, he plays his roles when he plays these bad guys, he plays them with this certain amount of like glee that I really, really dig. So I'm curious to see what can happen here with the Bone Temple. I do think it's going to be better than the first film in this trilogy because I don't think that movie was very good at all. I think I gave it a 2.5 stars. It might be closer to 2 stars for me 28 years later. This looks like it's going to be a lot better. And yeah, Mika says it does appear to have more of a storyline. Yeah, I agree there, Mika. This seems to be, that's the problem I have with 28 Years Later, is that it knows there are more movies coming, so it doesn't tell a complete story. And I hate that about that movie, because even if you're part of a trilogy, you should tell a complete story. The Empire Strikes Back tells a complete story, and it's the middle chapter of a trilogy. You know, and you can say the same for most movies that have sequels, especially when they're planned. You know, there's no need for 28 Years Later to have been a 2-act story. So anyways, I'll stop bitching about 28 Years Later. I want to know what you guys think in the live chat. And of course, if you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Share the channel with someone who you think would dig this kind of content, because we cover horror movie news all the time. Make sure the notification bell is hit and you won't miss a thing.